Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to XDefiant. A brand new update is coming to the game tomorrow on July 17th, which, believe it or not, is going to be rebalancing some of the weapons within the game. This is going to be the first time we've seen that so far. No guns have been adjusted really whatsoever since the launch of XDefiant, so it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out, as well as they changed up a couple of the factions, most notably the Spiderbot as well as the Intel suit. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. When the update goes live, we have a number of weapons that have been buffed. The MP5, for example, is going to be getting an increase to its medium damage range as well as its headshot damage multiplier, and they're going to be extending out its ranges as well. Its short range and its medium range are going to be further than what they were before, which means its damage drop off is going to happen further out, which will give the MP5 a bit more viability compared to other guns like the MP7, the P90, and things of that nature. We have the M4A1 receiving an increase to its short range damage, as well as the MDR also getting an increase to its short range damage, as well as its ADS speed. Now, a couple of weapons have been nerfed, mostly sniper rifles. Basically, the M44 Mosin Nagant, the TAC-50, as well as the L115 are going to have slightly slower sprint to fire times compared to what they had before, and all sniper rifles are going to get a small increase to its hip fire spread, which is weird. Like, was no scoping like a big issue or something like that in this game? I really have no idea, but regardless, they're nerfing no scoping a little bit, and they're nerfing snipers by giving them a slightly longer sprint to fire time. For me personally, I was very excited to see this update and see this news come out because, again, it's been pretty weird that we've had XDefiant for so long and no weapon balance changes have happened whatsoever. Of course, there's going to be people in the comments, and I'm right there with you guys. They did not adjust the MP7, they did not adjust the ACR or any of the like real meta weapons of the game, but instead they decided to take some of the worst guns in the game, some of the big outliers, and make them a little bit better. And then from there, I'm sure they're going to be gathering that feedback, gathering that data, and then making more changes to the weapons after some of the outliers have been buffed up a little bit. I'm also kind of surprised to see that the M4A1 was buffed because, believe it or not, I know a lot of people don't like it. That's like my favorite gun in the game. I love the M4. It's my highest weapon level right now, which is only like 230 or so because I use a wide variety of weapons, but still, I love the M4. When I play ranked, I use the M4 over the ACR. I'm using the ACR here in this footage because I finally unlocked the water gun skin from the Battle Pass and wanted to try it out. It looks freaking cool. I definitely like it, but the M4 is like still my favorite gun in the game, and the fact that it's getting buffed is pretty freaking cool, although I completely acknowledge it's not the best gun ever, and I see a lot of people out there saying it's completely terrible. So seeing the M4 get buffed, seeing the MP5 get buffed, and seeing the MDR get buffed is definitely some pretty good news. Now, when it comes to the factions, they changed up a couple of things here, which I think you guys are going to be pretty excited to hear about. First things first, the Spiderbots are getting a little bit stronger, which I know sounds crazy, but the Spiderbots, I mean, it's just, I don't know why they're in the game. I've said it before, I'll say it again, like, I don't know why they're in the game. They have not worked properly since the launch of the game, yet they're available in ranked play. It makes no sense whatsoever, but there's been a bug with the Spiderbots where it will ignore victims that were targeted previously by the deploying player. Now, what that means is basically every now and then you'll just see a Spiderbot sitting in the middle of the map doing absolutely nothing, and then you shoot it and kill it, and you kind of feel happy because it was bugged out. Well, that's going to stop happening. It's basically going to start working, and they're going to start jumping on people's faces once again, but with tomorrow's update, they're going to be making it so once again, we can shoot Spiderbots off of our faces, which is great news. And right in the patch notes, you guys know they like to be a little funny with their patch notes. They say players can once again shoot dead sick Spiderbots off their own faces. Not sure why. Everybody loves Spiderbots. Nobody does. Absolutely nobody does. It's like the worst idea in the game. I freaking hate it. Next up here, we have the Echelon Intel suit. Finally, they're making a change to it. A number of people, myself included, have been talking about that faction and that ability since the launch of the game and how they could potentially nerf it, right? Because the Intel suit, let's be honest, has been way too powerful since the very launch of the game. Well, what they ended up doing is they're going to be making it so the pulse from the Intel suit happens every 4 seconds instead of every 3 seconds, and enemies will remain highlighted for 1 second with that pulse instead of for 2.7 seconds, which is what it was previously. So you're still going to be able to ping people through walls. It's just not going to happen as often, and people aren't just going to be tracked through walls nearly as easily. Previously, when you got pinged, you were highlighted for 2.7 seconds, which is an eternity in a fast-paced game like XDefiant. Well, now you're only going to be highlighted for 1 second, and I'm definitely interested to see how this nerf is going to play out, and if it's going to make the Echelon a bit more in line with the other factions in the game. They've also gone ahead and let us know that certain abilities abilities that have been bugging out a lot, mostly near walls I'm noticing, are going to be fixed with this update. Abilities such as the Firebomb, the Digital Ghillie Suit, the Biovita Boost, I noticed it with the Intel Suit as well. You know, sometimes if you cast your ability too close to a wall, then suddenly it just bugs out, and then you have to like basically pick the other faction ability, die, go through that life, then swap back to your previous ability. It was a really annoying bug, and apparently that's going to be fixed with tomorrow's update. On top of that, a number of bugs are going to be addressed as well. There's going to be various graphical and audio fixes, and that's all fantastic, but the big thing here is they're finally making some adjustments to weapon balance, and I believe this is going to be the catalyst for even more changes to happen in the future. Like I talked about earlier, like there's still some outliers, right? The MP7, the ACR, like those are kind of known as like the meta guns. Some people say the AK is like really good. Like I agree it's good, but I don't think it's like overpowered by any stretch of the imagination. So what they're doing here is actually interesting. Instead of nerfing the really powerful guns right away, what they're doing is they're buffing up some of the weaker guns, and then they're going to get that data, get that feedback, and see how that all plays out before they make even more changes to the game based on their own data and of course based on community feedback. So that's gonna be pretty cool as well. Nerfing things like the Spiderbot, well, making it so we can shoot them anyway is good. Nerfing the Intel Suit is good. Overall, this update seems like a massive win for the XDefiant community, and I'm definitely excited to boot the game up and try it out when the update goes live tomorrow, once again on July 17th. But ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much all for this video here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on these changes down there in the comments, and the biggest question here is what changes would you make on top of what they've talked about right here? Like off the top of my head, I personally would nerf things like the MP7. I would straight up remove the Spiderbot from the game and replace it with any other ability. Like I've been brainstorming ideas. You know, remember the jammer that we had back in Black Ops 1? Like you placed down this jammer and it like jammed up the minimap in that area. That could be an ability for the DedSec. That kind of fits their faction a little bit, or something like a kind of like a counter UAV, something that kind of like counters the minimap in some capacity. Like anything besides a stupid spider robot that has no player interaction whatsoever. You just toss it out and it goes around and it bugs out on its own, it climbs up things on its own, it glitches out and just jumps on your face, and then you're stunned for 5 seconds and you can't even do anything and you take 40 damage. Like, just remove it from the game. I hate it. I hate that thing so freaking much. But apparently you can actually shoot it off your face once again, which will be nice, but it doesn't discredit the fact that it's still incredibly frustrating, and half the time it seems like your bullets came and hit the thing if it's coming at you. Just like, stupid ability. Don't know why it's in the game. I really don't like it. But other than that, I'm really trying to think of what other massive changes I would make. I suppose the biggest thing overall, and it's something that they've kind of been ignoring as of recently, but weapon XP for playing the objective. My freaking goodness, man. Like, I love playing Dom. I love playing Occupy. I love the objective game modes, but they feel bad when an amazing game of Dom is nowhere near as much weapon XP as like an average game of Team Deathmatch. Like, it kind of just feels like you're forced to play TDM if you want to level up your guns, get your attachments, get your mastery camos, and, you know, if you like TDM, then that's cool, but if you're an objective player like me who thrives in the objective modes and loves the objective modes, it feels really bad getting like 1.5 weapon levels every single match when the mastery camo goes up to weapon level 400. You guys know what I mean? Like, I definitely think that needs to be the next thing that they're targeting in terms of their priorities here, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how things are gonna play out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.